The footage of the disorder is a regular feature on global news bulletins. One could be forgiven for forgetting how and why this all began.
We must take action to demonstrate to President Xi that the United States Senate stands shoulder to shoulder with the people of Hong Kong.
The people of Hong Kong are perfectly within their rights to be very sceptical, very anxious about proposals for extradition to the mainland. So yes, I do support them, and I will happily speak up for them and back them every inch of the way.
The UK signed an internationally binding legal agreement in 1984 that enshrines the one country, two systems rule, enshrines the basic freedoms of the people of Hong Kong. And we stand foursquare behind that agreement, foursquare behind the people of Hong Kong.
All those months ago, the demonstrators' objectives and demands seemed to be clear. Now, as time has passed and lines blurred, this has changed. This isn't the first such case of targeted violence, merely another step in a pattern of escalation. A middle-aged, unarmed man left unconscious on the ground after a swarming attack by demonstrators. Global Times journalist Fu Guao mobbed, bound and beaten in Hong Kong airport for his support of authorities. Junius Ho, a pro-Beijing lawmaker, falling victim to a knife attack which could have ended far worse. Amid rising arson, looting and violence, police are also upping the stakes. An officer ploughing his motorbike into a mass of people, two of them reportedly injured. With thousands wounded in clashes, it's almost a miracle the body count from the violence isn't higher. Now, some say the situation was predictable. Authorities claim it's avoidable. The protesters that they're simply out of options. The truth could lie somewhere in between. But as the protests reach a point of no return, compromise seems to be the last priority for any side.
Dan Hawkins there. Well, Hong Kong has been gripped by unrest since June. It was initially triggered by a bill allowing extraditions to mainland China. In September, Hong Kong's leader, Carrie Lam, then announced the bill would be suspended, but that didn't stop the demonstrations, which have since become increasingly violent. Well, we heard from Pak Nung Wong. He's a senior lecturer in politics at the University of Bath in the UK and claims the intense violence is undermining the message of the Hong Kong protesters.
I have seen a lot of media coverage in Hong Kong, and they have been biased, and they have been also one-sidedly sympathetic with the protesters. Their camera shows mostly focusing on how the police handled the protesters instead of all those kind of violence and misbehavior committed by the protesters. Because the violence has already damaged the legitimacy and the popularity of the movement, the majority of the people who supported non-violence resistance, they have already quietly and silently moved out from the scene. And what we are only seeing in the television and video nowadays are the violent protesters. They are running around in a kind of guerrilla style, and it's very difficult for the police to persecute them